Hey you guys, welcome back to another video here at Anxiety Awakening. My name is Emmy Lou. If you haven't watched the intro video yet, I suggest you go and watch it. That will tell you all about me and the purpose of this channel, and watch all the other videos as well. So today I wanted to touch on environment and how your environment can trigger anxiety, affect anxiety, and make it either better or 10 times worse. And this is all coming from my own experience. So first of all, I'm a big believer in energy and how energy from people and your environment can trigger you, and how it can, bring on a panic attack, basically. As we all know, panic, anxiety is intertwined with other conditions such as insomnia, depression, etc., etc. So it all goes hand in hand. And throughout my journey battling with anxiety and panic disorder, I found that one huge factor affecting whether it made my life better or worse was my environment. So I just wanted to share a little bit of that with you today and discuss a few different environmental topics on how you can change your environment, which will in turn make your anxiety more livable and more manageable. So the first one is your home. So, okay, I'm talking about inside the home. So what kind of home do you have? Do you have a lot of clutter? Do you have things you don't use anymore? Do you hoard things? Do you keep things that you're not necessarily going to use again? I find that a lot of clutter, and we've all had it in the past, none of us are perfect. We all keep hold of clothes we think we're going to wear again. We keep hold of trinkets we think we're going to use again, or that have meaningful value, and really they don't. You're just attached to them for some weird reason. I find that if you declutter your space and get rid of everything you don't need, that can bring a sense of calm and a sense of organisation, which in turn keeps you from feeling scatty, if that makes sense. So my advice would be every 6 months to a year, go through all your drawers, go through your wardrobe, paperwork, everything, declutter. And I find that decluttering your home also declutters your mind and your sense of well-being. So that would be my first little bit of advice. The second one is, how do you create your space? So do you use your home as like a sanctuary for yourself? Do you use it as a place to relax? Do you use it as a place to become creative, to become productive? Because it's where you spend most of your time and it's where you live. So you should always create a space that makes you feel at ease and calm in general. That could be using photographs, pictures, the colours. I mean, I remember once, for example, painting one of my flats that I lived in when I was in my early 20s red. It was like a fire red, not a pillar box red, like a fiery red and cream. And you know what? I was so angry and, tense all the time. I was very anxious, and I do believe that colours resonate with your personality. So for me, I find purple, greens and blues, which as you can see here and here, works well for me. So that's another thing to think about. What are your favourite colours? And look at, where are your favourite places and what colours are those places, and try and incorporate, that into the home. So I'm a bit airy-fairy. I like to do a lot of galactic frequency meditation. So space in the universe is really, meaningful to me. So I like to incorporate these colours and these colours, which represent, space in the sky and that kind of thing. I've also painted my bathroom turquoise because I love the ocean, and I've printed out pictures of my favourite, sceneries when I'm away. and put them in my bathroom to create a sense of calm when I'm in the bathroom. So yeah, that's another thing I think everyone should do, is personalise their home to reflect who you are and what your inner peace reflects. Okay, so that is done for the home side of things. It's pretty simple, really. Decorate your home to reflect you, your inner you, your calm you, your peaceful you, and that in turn will help you sleep better and vibrate better when you're at home. Okay, the second big one for me is location. So where is your home located? Now, this was really prominent to me before I moved to where I am now. I was in a bit of a built-up area in North Liverpool. I was by a dual carriageway. I was by a main street with loads of shops, terraced houses, excuse me, people everywhere. Some nice people, some not so nice people. And every time I stepped out of my front door, I used to get really, really anxious, like in my stomach, like I felt like I couldn't breathe, like everything was just closing in on me. There was cars and lorries and traffic rushing everywhere, and I've explained this in one of my other videos about the lorries and the traffic and stuff, and how that affected my anxiety and panic, and it brought on panic, and in turn that created what do we call it, like a trigger thing for me. So being in my old house by this dual carriageway, I found myself every time I had to go to the shops or go for a walk or take my dog for a walk, I would come up with this huge panic because of where it was, because of where my house was. I didn't feel settled. I didn't feel safe. That's the word I've been looking for. I didn't feel safe. So when I stepped back into my house, which was decorated lovely, as I've just explained, it was, you know, super, super calm inside, but the energy from the location of where I lived stayed with me inside. I suffered quite bad insomnia to the point where I was having like 1 hour a night maybe, and I was doing 12-hour shifts, blah, blah, blah. So everything has a knock-on effect. So I made a decision 5 years ago, well, coming up to 5 years, I need to move. I need to be by the sea. I need to be by greenery, blah, blah, blah. So I did, and I downgraded from a 2-bedroom house to a 1-bedroom flat. It worked. So look at your location, what's around you, what triggers you. For me, it's busy traffic and being around a lot of people. So, you know, I'm in above a shop now. I've got one neighbour. I'm right by the beach. Excellent for me. So yeah, location is super, super important. Okay. Another environmental factor that I've experienced more than many times is where you work. And I'm not just talking about your job role, I'm talking about the place of work where you execute your job role. So, for example, I am a care and support worker. I've done many different types of care and support over the years, and I've worked in many care settings, including mental health, autism, nursing, residential care, brain injury, the list goes on. Excuse me, I am full of cold. And what I found was that where I work, my place of work, the colleagues, the boss, all affected my anxiety and the management of my anxiety in completely different ways. It's a really personal one, this, and this is really personal to each individual, because the video I did when I was in Mallorca explained about energy awareness, and everything for me is all about the energy, other people's energy, environmental energy, etc., etc. So it's very, very personal, and I can't say, you know, some people might love working with in an under pressure environment, and that might, you know, do them the world of good. For me, an under pressure environment, it depends where the pressure's coming from. So being physically under pressure, for example, working in a nursing home where you're constantly on the go, you're constantly moving your body, you know, you're straining yourself, that doesn't affect me. But when I'm mentally under pressure, that affects me. So just giving an example, when I worked in mental health, there was no physical exertion to it. I was supporting a couple of ladies in a home. that was not far from me. I was doing night shifts. This is when I lived in my old house, and it was mental health, and it was really, really intense. Working with personality disorder. The mental strain it put me under caused insomnia, severe panic. The panic then led to me wanting to drink after work. That became a habit to reduce the panic. Then the insomnia would kick in because I would dread going in the next day because of the mental, how can I put it? The mental stress I was under dealing with these certain situations. Now, I'm not saying I can't handle working in mental health, but that place, that house, what went on in that house really triggered my panic and anxiety, and the insomnia which goes with it, which then makes the panic and anxiety worse. So with that being said, once I recognised this and I thought, hang on, this, it's not that it isn't for me because I can work in mental health. It was the house itself, what went on in the house, the people and their energy. And that's, you know, it's your environment. You go to work to earn money, don't you, to pay the bills. I decided, hang on, I need to change location of job. So I asked my manager, can I change location? Can I move to a different service? And they said, yeah, even though it was further away from home, I got moved to a different service, and it made a world of difference. So you can, you know, if you look at anxiety and you've got to become aware of the triggers around you. You've got to become aware of the triggers around you and do something about it, because if you don't, it's just going to keep going or get worse. It's never going to get better. So sometimes you have to sacrifice to make things better, but then giving things up, you know, pays off, if that makes sense. So yeah, also relationships with peers. I find when you suffer with anxiety and you're a little bit hyperactive like me, I'm sure I've got ADHD or whatever label they've got on it these days, I find I can't work somewhere unless I can be my absolute true self and be my true personality. So when I've worked for bosses and peers in the past that want to put a dampener on the way you are and your positivity, or, you know, your excitement, or, you know, your banter, whatever, that can also kick off your anxiety and panic because you can't be yourself. So I've done this quite a few times over the years. You know, I've got a CV 4 or 5 pages long. I will now not stay somewhere if I can't be myself, because if I can't be myself, that creates anxiety and self-doubt and worry. And then you start wondering what other people are thinking of you, because it's basically like being told off when you're a kid, when you're in school, and someone's telling you off for being you. They're trying to put a lid on you as a person. So with that being said, only work somewhere where you can be your true self and you are valued for it and you're praised for it and you're celebrated for being your true self. Because if you can be your true self, you're not pushing things down, emotions down, which can cause the anxiety and panic. Hoping this makes sense, guys. I'm trying to explain it as best I can. I'm not very articulate, but I'm trying my best to try and explain it from my own experience. Okay, the biggest one for me next up is your daily routine. So what do you do for yourself, personal development wise? You know, from the minute you wake up to the minute you go to bed. It's 24 hours in a day. We're all tired all the time. But what are you doing to help your mind, your heart, your body, and your spirit? Because what you put into yourself, you get back out. And daily routine is so freaking important to me. If I don't do my daily routine, if I'm having an off day or I'm ill, I don't sleep, self-doubt creeps in, anxiety creeps in, panic creeps in, I feel let down, I feel like I've let myself down, and then that kicks everything off. So for me, it's a must. So for me, what works for me personally is meditation as soon as I wake up. As soon as I wake up, like, don't even look at your phone. Don't reply to anyone. Don't speak to anyone. Meditation. Find what works for you. I know what works for me. I meditate. Okay. I listen to healing frequencies. Now, there's many different healing frequencies. I shield myself. Energetically shield myself. My daily routine, sometimes it takes me 2 hours depending on whether I'm tired or full of beans when I wake up. But I take my time and I set my alarm in advance so I make time for it. I weight train every day. I have to exercise. I exert. I call it the input-output method. So you're inputting something positive into your brain and into your energy system by meditating and reading or whatever works for you. And then you exert and you're outputting energy, stagnant energy or stress or anything like that. So I'm big into weight training. So I meditate, I do healing frequency, I hit the gym and I eat clean. So input-output method. So yeah, just think, guys, about your environment. There's many factors to an environment. Say the environment is your umbrella, and then everything that's hanging down under that umbrella. Take a look at each one and just see and try and connect the dots and think, well, hang on a minute, that one little thing could be making my life hell right now and I don't even realise it. For me, it's busy roads and traffic. I do not want to live by a dual carriageway and I never will again. So just some little examples for you guys. And, just really sit down and think about, your home, inside your home, the colours of your home, whether you've got clutter, the organisation, the location of where you live. Are you in a built-up area? Have you got nature to hand? Are you by a busy road? Have you got a fear of getting run over? You live by a busy road, that ain't going to go hand in hand. All these things you've got to think about. It's hard work, but once you start connecting the dots, it really, really sinks in. And you're like, oh my goodness, like, this is why I've been feeling this way. You can really help yourself. Job, think about your job. Think about the relationship with your colleagues. What are they like? Does their energy pass on to you? How are you treated by your bosses, etc.? How's the environment in work? How does it make you feel? Do you dread going in? Do something about it. Guys, there's so many different ways that your environment can affect your anxiety and panic. And last but not least, obviously, was the daily routine. Get your daily routine nailed. Find what makes you feel good and do it religiously. Stick to it. Do it like you breathe air. If you don't do it, you're not getting any air in. You've got to make it a religion. Your own religion. So guys, thanks for watching. And I hope this has helped. So good luck with figuring out about your environment. Write it all down if you have to. Let me know in the comments, what triggers you around your environment or in your home. Could be the people you live with, could be anything. Just give it some thought. Really look into it, because I guarantee you, if you make some small little changes, it'll help massively. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up and I will see you in the next one.